The folks you ran into climbing most places, other than like the old professional guys like Arnold and that, the young people were essentially all the same. Nobody had any money. They were in school or out of school or just jacking around doing whatever. Some of them had jobs, but it was kind of pretty much kind of a vagabond existence in a lot of places. It certainly was in Yosemite. I know it was in Boulder. Here it wasn't quite so much that way because we had people coming from urban areas close by. So we had more employed young people, it seemed like. But you know, in the valley in the 70s, it was really something. I mean, it was a very unique place, unique enough they wrote a book about it, you know, the Camp 4 book. And Boulder was much the same. You know, you had a lot of people who were just there climbing, and you wonder, how did they get along? Well, they got along the same way you did when you were on the road. You did what you needed to for as long as you happened to be staying, you know. The local thing is actually pretty funny because over the years, and I have to use Hunt Prothrow as kind of an example in part of this, but initially when people came here to climb, okay, folks knew D.C. Harper, who was the grandfather of Joe Harper, who now owns the store. And Joe's dad, Buck, built my buildings for me, okay? But I think that the climbers, first of all, they didn't have a lot of contact with a lot of local people because there weren't the restaurants there are now. I mean, there weren't the facilities for them to go someplace and meet a bunch of local folks. They came, camped, climbed, and headed home, and that was it. But everybody knew that they were professional folks from D.C. These are science guys and all that kind of stuff. Well, when the 60s hit, the 60s and 70s, 3/4 of the people or better who came here to climb were essentially long hairs like everybody else in that period of time was. So the climbing community, as well as lots of other people who came here, boaters and whoever, were a bunch of hippies. I mean, that was it. And about the time that phase kind of went away, the hair got shorter, people started wearing painter's pants and dressing halfway decent anyway and looked relatively respectable. Then what happened was the whole tights scene, you know. So, and now it's back kind of on an even keel again, I think, where the local image of the climbers is, yeah, these guys are doing whatever they do, but they don't look too weird anymore and they always bring money. So, but it's kind of been an up and down thing as far as the climbers' image within the local community.
What about the climbers in relation to sort of the business? You know, like the Harpers seem to.
Oh, well, Joe Harper's smart. He knows. I mean, Buck Harper was smart. When my original shop, do you know where the picnic area entrance is down here? Not the visitor center entrance, but the picnic entrance. Well, my shop originally was right across the road from that. And we moved 2 buildings off the Forest Service that were purchased and had to be moved. That was the original site of the Gendarme. And when the Forest Service took that land from the landowner, they condemned it. I had to move. And I talked Buck Harper into building me a building. And he knew that it was good business to have those climbers next to his shop or next to his store. And same with Joe. You know, I mean, that's why there's a sign that points towards the shop that says coldest beer. I mean, it's obvious that the folks who are in business know who spends money, and climbers do spend money, and way more than they used to, trust me. You know, so for the other folks, they're just around. I mean, a lot of the local people are working folks like you find anywhere else. They're farmers or, work jobs, and so it really doesn't have much effect on them.